All right, everyone. After a failed attempt, apparently a failed attempt at going live, I'm trying to do that again. Uh, just don't know if it's working this time. So this is uh, my first time doing this solo. I mean, I've done Instagram live, but I am attempting, if you can hear me, to do this live. I see what they were talking about. Sorry, something my staff was telling me that's there. It's not supposed to be there, but I don't know that I can move it now. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, all right, so everyone, let's see here. So I see. So if you were just online with me a few moments ago, my apologies for ending it and going back. I couldn't make it work quite right. Had to ask my better half what was going on. I'm in LA. Hello, everyone. Good morning or evening, afternoon, where you may be seeing this stream. Um, I'm in LA right now. I'm traveling, been on the road a little bit, was in Miami, was in LA, was in Boston, back to LA, and then now I'm headed to Atlanta. In a couple of hours, I'll be headed to Atlanta, Georgia. Let me say that right off the bat. Shout out to Pastor Matrilla Hall of Faith to Grace Ministries. I will be in Atlanta. Those of you in the Atlanta area, would love to see you. Uh, Saturday, July the 29th, I mean, sorry, 27th, Saturday, July 27th, 2 days from now at 3 p.m., I will be at Faith to Grace Ministries. They'll be hosting an Israel conference, United for Survival. Looking forward to joining the pastors down there. If you want to join us, if you want to let somebody else know about it, please just go to ibsi.org/dates, ibsi.org/dates, and you will see our event. I'll say that again before I finish here. We'll be here just for a few minutes, but I'm doing this live because I wanted to address something that I had been posting about. Will eventually write something about. It's been very busy. In Super Black Solidarity with Israel, and this is not an exclusive IBSI little shout out. This is on different things. My radio show, Truth to Power Live with Dumisani Washington. You can go to ttplive.com. We go live on Sundays at 4 p.m. Um, I'll be doing that from Atlanta um, this weekend. IBSI.org to find out more about the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, and especially our alliance with the African Jewish Alliance. Shout out to Dr. Charles Jacobs, Mr. Simon Dang, and others. Um, I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Again, I'm doing this solo. If there's any technical glitches, I apologize, but it seems to be going okay. And so I'm toggling back and forth here because I am my own guy right now. Let me see here. Instagram. I thought Instagram was going. So Instagram is going, it seems, on, I think I'm good, right? I'm good on Instagram. If you're on my personal Instagram, just let me know. If you say something, I can probably see you. I think I am. Okay, cool. All right. So I want to just address something real quick before I head out, um, and I want to be I want to be clear. It's the title of this. If you can see a title, it talks about the quiet rise of Christian/conservative anti-Semitism, or the other way around. I don't remember. And there's a there's it's not one singular thing, but there's an overarching. I was going to do this live yesterday, but then I got actually joined on a X live with shout out to Stealth. I don't know Stealth your real name, but shout out to Stealth and the other ones who help her run that space. And everything. I was able to kind of share some thoughts there about what's happening. Let me start here. I was going to be in Washington, D.C. During the visit of the Israeli Prime Minister. As a matter of fact, I was one of the pastors here in the country who was honored to receive a invitation to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister. And I could not go because I had just touched down in LA. But would have been honored to go. Again, the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel is not a pro-Bibi, anti-Bibi, pro-Likud, pro-Yesh Atid. We are not connected to anyone's government, whether that's the Israeli government, the American government, any African governments, and we work throughout Africa. We are not a government entity. We are not even a I guess not an NGO. We're just a nonprofit, nonpartisan. And this is why we'll deal with the craziness in both parties, or we'll deal with whatever needs to be addressed as much as we possibly can, which is why we try to speak truth to power. So in that vein, I was going to be in Washington, D.C., but I could not be there. A couple of people reached out to me and said they missed me there, so apparently they knew I was going to, or was invited to go, and I didn't even know. I guess I got an email from the consulate. It didn't. I didn't see it. This happens quite a bit. So for those of you, shout out any of those who've been trying to reach me directly where IBSI is concerned. The best thing to do is to go to ibsi.org and click on the contact us, or just email info@ibsi-now.org. Because then my staff will see it and they'll get it to me. Otherwise, I'm kind of bombarded. And then that's not about me being all important. It's just that it's a combination of a lot of correspondence and me not being all that organized on that tip. I've missed some important emails, things, people coming out, sending things to me directly. I can have a few minutes here. Let's see here. While the prime minister was speaking to Congress, mostly Republican and a few Democrats, because of all the partisan divide where Israel is concerned, for all those silly reasons, there were protests. It has been well documented now, it's been reported by multiple sources, that the protests, the pro-Hamas, anti-Israel protests from the college campuses to now in the streets, where people are waving Hezbollah flags, they're waving Palestinian flags, they're burning the U.S. flag. These things are bought and paid for. That doesn't mean that there's not an organic movement in there that hates Israel, hates Jews, hates the Israel-U.S. relationship. But we also know that a great deal of that is paid for. I mean, even CNN, some of the mainstream presses have been actually reporting on the fact that these people are paid for. Jake Tapper had somebody on his show a few months ago, and he was naming out George Soros, the Pritzkers. He was naming out I don't know, Rockefeller, whoever else. I put that on my wall. I retweeted it on my X if you guys want to see that. It's a worst kept secret. There's also Politico did a piece saying that the protests are being funded by Joe Biden's top donors. Okay, this is not some sort of right-wing conspiracy. This is actually well known, which is one of the reasons why you can understand that people are actually breaking the law, defacing U.S. monuments and burning the U.S. flag, and you don't see any federal cops. You don't see nothing. They're beating up cops or jumping on cops. They're just getting away with this the same way Antifa did, the same way Black Lives Matter did. So it's the same playbook, right? Clearly, this is coordinated from the very top. You don't see the Justice Department, and Merrick Garland ain't saying nothing. The State Department ain't saying nothing. Nobody's saying Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. They have nothing to say. Nothing to say. We're concerned about, insurrections, or sedition. We need to save our democracy. But the people are destroying property, burning U.S. flags, some of them calling death to Jews, right? You have all this, nothing. They have nothing to say. All right. So that is fairly ensconced in the whole left-wing ideology. It's again the red-green axis that they talked about. So many people who much more informed than I. Dr. Zuhdi Jasher, shout out to him. You got the Marxists, you got the Islamists, and they're out there doing their thing, pretty much unscathed because no one's really dealing with it. That's part of the problem. But at the same time, you have these right-wing anti-Israel types like the Tucker Carlsons, like the Candace Owens, and others, right, that have their own agenda. And this is part of what we were saying. If you single out Israel for your rants, now I'm talking on the right now, for America first, we're involved in all these wars and money to these countries, and people, I get it, right? I'm one of those Americans who's also tired of us being in wars where billions and billions and billions of dollars and these failed conflicts and us trying to do nation building and all that kind of stuff. While stuff has really gone to hell here in the United States, I totally get it. But when you single out Israel as if Israel is the only nation that receives military funding, has this type of relationship with the United States, like Jordan, like Egypt, like Nigeria, right? When you single out Israel, you're an anti-Semite. If you're going to have an honest conversation about the United States being involved in conflicts all over the place and spending billions of dollars and blood and treasure, this, that, and the other, and the next thing out your mouth is Israel and the Jews, you're an anti-Semite. If you have nothing else to say about that topic other than Israelis, anti-Semite. Secondly, on the Christian conservative thing, the Candaces, the Tuckers, the rest of them. If you're going to actually broach the subject of, for example, Christian persecution, which another thing, I've been in that space for over 30 years. I have been aware, actually longer than that, but I was first aware of the persecuted church in that sense in the 1980s while I was in college. That's 40 years ago. But it was around the mid 1990s that I began to get involved with, sort of just kind of homegrown advocacy. I would go on Voice of the Martyrs and find out different information. The internet wasn't a big thing, but there was some information that was there. It wasn't like, there's no social media, right? There's no YouTube or Twitter or nothing like that, but you can get some information from different articles and stuff. So I was old school writing letters to my representatives in California. At that time, Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer was our senators, right? So I've been doing this for a long time, longer than some of these people have been alive, right? Okay. So when you broach that subject, that's one I'm pretty familiar with. In the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, we talk about it. The African Jewish Alliance is based on that shared the fight against Islamism, right? Boko Haram is Hamas, is ISIS, is Al-Qaeda, is Al-Shabaab, and on and on. But when you, as a Christian conservative in America first, jump into that fray and you want to talk about Israel. What about Israel? Oh, Israel is persecuting Christians. That's a lie. That's not even now you addressing some sort of principled thing. That's a blood libel. Christians are not being persecuted in Israel. Christians are growing in number in Israel. One of the other places where it's fast growing amazingly. Christians are persecuted in Iran. And the church is growing there underneath that persecution. The same people like Tucker, like Candace, and others who want to talk about persecution, they're not talking about the Christians in Iraq or Syria or Gaza persecuted by the actual Hamas and other people themselves or in the Palestinian Authority, right? You are an anti-Semite. And now you're using Christianity, you're using Christ as king to beat up on Israel and attack the Jewish people. So now you're an anti-Semite in the name of Jesus. And the danger, we said, is that even though it is no real comparison in terms of amount, the left side, the Democrats have a huge infestation of Jew hatred. It's growing. It's becoming the Labour Party of the UK. And for those of you Democrats who get your feelings hurt by that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, just being real. Y'all just be honest. Be honest about what's actually going on. I put the video up from 2012, the DNC convention, in which they had a vote to recognize Jerusalem as a capital and having God in their platform. And people shot it down. They just pushed it through anyway, right? So this has been coming for a while. None of this is new, right? But the problem is that it is emerging more on the right side. And so those of you are conservative, oh, you can't say that, Pastor Dumisani. I'm seeing the same things. I compared Ilhan Omar to Candace Owens in that no one really said anything about her in the emerging squad. Not very much until it was way too late. And someone said on one of the comments, well, that's not even the same thing. Candace Owens isn't running for office. She's not a political person. Right. which means even worse, she has no voting constituency to appeal to. So that means Candace can just be even more blatant about hers than Ilhan Omar was. Yep. She didn't got to fake it and shake it. So she's talking about Holocaust stuff. You know what she's talking about? Right? Talking about the persecution of Christians and everything. And it all comes down to Israel and the Jews. And I got to leave here in a moment because I couldn't do this very long. So again, when you see that type of bias, left or right side of the aisle, you are seeing anti-Semitism. You want to talk about the persecution of Christians? Fine, let's have that conversation. Talk about Nigeria. Let's talk about Sudan. Let's talk about Syria. Let's talk about Iraq. Let's talk about, okay, so Israel. Okay, first of all, the Christians are being persecuted in Israel. Secondly, you've ignored all those other issues, which means you are a Jew hater. That's right. So you're using Christianity. Shout out Cantor Robbie. Hey, my friend, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a while. Now that one just popped up. If you've been commenting in other places, I am not that adept. I'm doing this solo again. This is me solo, everybody. I can't see. I saw this one thing on the stream. I think. Shout out to Avi. So that's the first thing. So when you see that kind of bias, ladies and gentlemen, this again, just call it out, right? If you're going to talk about this, because X is your issue and X is happening way over here, but you want to talk about X because you think it's connected to the Jews, right? That you're an anti-Semite. That's what that is. The last thing here, I'll do this real quick because we'll have to get into some more. I thought I had more time and then I couldn't get online, everything. The funding, I said this before, these protests that we are seeing that are funded are not just funded by people talking about, it's been written about the George Soroses, the Pritzkers. It's been talking about some of the big donors that are coming from Biden, right? Jewish and non-Jewish. Yes, that's exactly what that Jewish Voice for Peace out there with their keffiyehs on and everything, talking about again, right? So you have a small percentage of Jewish folks out there coming against Israel. Yeah, that's nothing new, right? There's always going to be a division. It doesn't matter. No people are monolith. However, you notice how right or left, no one talks about the billions of dollars coming from Qatar. We did a couple of reports on it, and we shared the report of ISGAP, what is what is it again? The Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. They did the most comprehensive study. Go to isgap.org, I believe it is, and we've actually put it on a couple of our videos as well, in which, among many other things, we talk about this whole Muslim Brotherhood Qatari thing. There's funding coming in that's anti-Israel, anti-American, to the tune of between $500 billion and $1 trillion. I'm going to say it again. This is the ISGAP report. They have all the receipts. Between $500 billion and $1 trillion to affect what they call soft power, which is our college campuses, all these other protests and everything. So if you want to talk about the lies around Israel committing genocide, lie against Palestinians, lie, Israel attacking the Christians, lie, Israel wanting American boots on. That's what Chuck Tucker Carlson was saying a few months ago. Oh yeah, Ben Shapiro wants American boots on the ground. It's a lie. Never said that. So if you're going to take your journalistic integrity and then start lying through your teeth about the Jews, you are no better than the Ilhan Omars in on the left, right? So we have it on the left and the right, and it's emerging more and more on the right. It's more prevalent on the left, but it's emerging more and more on the right. People just blatantly lying about stuff, right? So they're not dealing with it. You notice how those same right-wing Israel haters are not talking to you about the Muslim Brotherhood funding into the billions and billions of dollars into the Jew hatred and America hatred on our streets. That has nothing to do with Benjamin Netanyahu, right? That has nothing to do with the IDF. But it is tearing at the fabric of our nation. So if you're America first, how come you're not talking about the whole issue, right? There's funders that are doing it. We are talking about Democrat donors are actually funding this stuff. Like I said before, funding the pro-Hamas protests, the pro-Hamas rallies, and the death to Israel, all that kind of death to America. But it's also coming from Qatar, the Muslim Brotherhood, and yes, Iran. Iran is using this billions of dollars to act. We have all these receipts. None of this just started happening after October the 7th. This has been going on for a long time. So when you broach this subject about what's going on in America and America first and America involved in different, conflicts and then you want to settle to just nestle your little behind right there with Israel and the Jew, you are a Jew hater. And we will call you out. And you're not helping anything. You're literally, just like Black Lives Matter, wanted to blame Israel and Israeli police for the police brutality. And they wanted to blame Jews and went into Jewish neighborhoods. We have all these receipts as well, during the whole George Floyd Summer of Love. And they were defacing and vandalizing yeshivas and synagogues. Jewish, not only was Israel not responsible, they're taking all of this, some of it goodwill for people who are concerned about real justice issues, and they're doing Nazi stuff, which is why Black Lives Matter in Chicago, right after October the 7th, they tweeted that picture of a paraglider who just got through slaughtering hundreds of kids at the Nova Festival. Then they tried to backtrack. Oh, no, we didn't mean that. Man, y'all been talking smack about Israel and siding with Hamas the whole time. Don't act like you ain't doing it now. Go ahead and go all the way out there. Just say praise Hamas. From the National, right? Don't even... You talk about Israel's an apartheid state, Israel's committing genocide. Those are all blood libels. And Black Lives Matter, you've been doing that at least since 2014. Don't act like you done, oh, well, we didn't really mean it. Yeah, you did mean it. You absolutely did mean it. So now on the right, we got the same thing. You're not having real conversations about it, America first. You're not having real conversations about our money being spent on the other different places. You want to talk about Israel, where we're actually benefiting from both the technology that comes there. They are the front lines of this war, this jihadist war. You don't even talk about the jihad. I mean, Candace Owens is covering for Iran just like Ilhan Omar does. Why? Because we're not going to touch it. We're going to act like it doesn't exist. We're going to talk about Bibi. We're going to talk about the Jews. We're going to talk about Israel. This is the danger. So, as I get ready to go, because I gotta bounce. So I gotta go. I'm gonna end this stream. I know I'm doing this abruptly, but again, I'm in LA. I gotta bounce. I got a meeting. I gotta get to the airport. So I'm gonna say this last time again. This wasn't what it's about, but if you're in the Atlanta area, I will be there. Ipsy will be there Saturday at 3 p.m. At the Israel conference with Faith to Grace Ministries. If you want to join us there, if you know someone who wants to join us, go to ibsi.org, ibsi.org. and go to dates, and you'll see the flyer for the event that we're going to have there in Atlanta. Shout out again to Pastor Matrilla Hall and the folks there in the Atlanta area. We're looking forward to being with you very, very soon. Again, have a meeting in LA, jumping on a plane. We'll get to LA, get to Atlanta, God say the same, by this Thursday evening. Get a little rest. Meet my boo, because she's been traveling other places. Meet my wife of 35, my bride of 36 years now, and we get the chance to just kick it and spend some time, and then have our event there, and then drive back to the Charlotte, North Carolina area. All right, so blessings, everyone. We'll do this again. Sorry for all the jagged stuff. I'm gonna try to get this a little bit better, and but I gotta bounce. Talk to you guys a little later. Everyone, blessings.